Today we're doing a review of the Massform Wave Rolltop Backpack. In this video, I'm gonna tear this bag apart. I'm gonna give you my experience of reviewing 500 of the world's best bags. And we're just gonna talk honestly about the pros and the cons, what it can fit, what it can't, what its real capacity is, and you're gonna wanna stick around to the end of the video because if you're not quite sold that the Massform Rolltop is the bag for you, I'll make some alternative recommendations for bags that are similar but have some key differences so you can find the best bag for your needs. And real fast, it should be noted that this is a sponsored review, but here at Nomadization, sponsored reviews do not guarantee positive reviews. All that it means is that Massform got to pay to pick their own publish date because we have so many bags to review. It's crazy. There's so many. I don't think we're gonna get to half of them. But Massform made sure that we got to theirs. But as you'll see, this is a very honest review. We don't hold back, even if the brand pays. Let's talk about the gist of the Massform Wave Rolltop Backpack review. And this is a really interesting review because Massform is different than the bag brands that we normally review because they're actually not a bag brand first. And they're actually like a music first company. And I don't know if any of my viewers out there know, but I come from a heavy music background. I started playing guitar when I was 13. I was in bands my whole life. I got a whole sleeve of just different instruments and musical references. So music's really important to me, and when Massform reached out, I was really excited because they make lots of cool music stuff, mostly acoustic wall panels, which are great for musicians and especially in studios. And this bag sort of fits that lifestyle. It's their city to studio carry. But having said that, I don't think that it's just a bag for musicians. I think anybody can get really good use out of it. But I gotta say too, Massform sent us 2 bags. So if you're not loving that wavy front aesthetic, they also have a tote pack, which is literally half tote, half messenger, half backpack. It's a lot of halves. 3 halves don't make a whole. But it's definitely an interesting bag in itself. And if that sort of wavy, acoustic, watery aesthetic doesn't speak to you, this might be a bit more up your alley. If you want us to review this bag, be sure to let us know in the comments below. If we get enough requests, we'll be sure to do that. Let's talk about some of the top features. As the name suggests, it is a roll top backpack, and one of the most distinguishing features is going to be that wave design on the front panel right there. And we'll talk about what that design represents in depth in the next section, because I think it's really important to understanding the overall vibe of the bag. We've got a quick access top pocket, a really nice orange lining, which helps to create a highlight effect, making it easier to find what to put where in your bag. We've got 2 zippered side pockets, side access, into the main compartment, side access to the tech sleeve, and this little guy right here, a little hidden back wallet pocket. Now on the website, Massform claims this bag to be 23 liters that can expand to 40 liters depending on the roll, and I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that's not right. The first half of the statement, I believe, is correct. It's probably around 23 liters. Let's test that. Okay, we have filled this bad boy up to the brim. Now notice we didn't fill any of the side or front pockets, but these are extremely tight when the bag is fully packed out, so there's no real reason to. All the capacities in the main compartment. Good call, Margaret. We almost forgot to measure the dimensions. We always almost forget that. We're looking at a height of 18 inches, width of 12 inches, and a fully packed out depth of around 9 inches. And now we're gonna see what this bag is in its full capacity. And our suspicions are certainly confirmed. So we got 5, 10, 15, 20 liters capacity when the bag was fully packed out in that main compartment. If you add the tech compartment, which is really tight in itself, and those side pockets, you might get to the 23, but that's max capacity. But I definitely say it packs closer to an 18 to 20 liter. Massform is currently advertising this bag to be 1.9 pounds, which I am getting on the dot. This is the bag when it's empty. This is the bag when it's fully packed out and worn on the Nomadization team. Margaret's 5'2", I'm 5'8", and Jason Bagmoa is 6'1". And we're gonna pack out the bag throughout the entire review so you can see exactly what it fits. The Wave Roll Top currently comes in 1 color option, black. And for all that, this pack runs around 150 USD. And if at any point during this review you're thinking about making a purchase, we do suggest doing so using the first link in the description below. Reason being, that link makes sure that you get the best price, and we oftentimes have discount codes. But that link also helps support the Nomadization YouTube channel and team, so we can keep making the best bag reviews on the web. Thank you very much. Okay, let's talk about the front of the Massform Wave Roll Top. Now, the first thing we talk about in this chapter is the aesthetic of the bag. And I think that if you're drawn to the wave roll top, one of the biggest reasons is going to be the aesthetic. Two reasons why. One, roll tops, man, they just always look so clean. Like, I'm not a huge roll top guy, but I can just objectively acknowledge that just the roll with the securing hardware, and it just looks clean, but also a little bit of mean. Roll tops are just, it's classic for a reason. But the second reason you might be interested is this whole wave flow we got going on. And this wave is clear coated UV prints. And they got a little bit of texture to them as well. And ultimately you're gonna love this or just absolutely freaking hate it. But I think if you're somebody who's into the artsier side of things, this representing like audio waves and possibly your love for music can go a long way. Let me know like your thoughts on like the wave design. Super cool, super lame? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Next up, the logo. I do love the execution on this bag. It's super subtle. And the only other spot you can find the logo that's a little bit louder is here on the back. So nice job, Massform, for keeping things nice and discreet. Now let's talk about the fabric. This is a partially recycled polyester blend with a solvent-free PU coating. And it's got an 8,000 millimeter water column rating, which is just like all fancy talk for the fact that this is a very weather-resistant backpack, mostly. But it's not like that the fabric's not waterproof, just certain parts of the backpack aren't waterproof, particularly this section here. Cover that in a second. But this fabric in itself, I mean, it is water resistant as all hell. As you can see right here, it's a rubbery finish. Water's gonna slide right off the bag, which definitely fits like the lifestyle of this pack. If you're a musician and you have expensive musical gear and you're going from home to studio, you want to keep that gear dry. But as waterproof as the fabric is, the backpack is definitely not waterproof, which it is advertised as. And I object to that. Because waterproof should mean that you can throw it in the water. It means that if this got caught in a rainstorm for 20 minutes, no water would seep through. And I don't know if that's the case because we have this pocket right here. And there's sort of a crevice with this pocket, right? So if rain does hit, you have the potential that there could end up being a little bit of pooling of water there. And no matter how weather resistant the fabric and the zippers are, there's always seams on the edges here, right, where the actual sewing needle goes through. And you can see when I pull it out, there's some seams right there, right? And it's not this bag's fault, it's just every bag has these seams, unless they're really specifically designed not to have them. And it means that water can seep through there. But having said that, on the waterproof scale, that pocket aside, the roll top, I'm not sure about these pockets here. You know, we still have some zipper seams, but more or less, it's gonna be a really, really weather resistant bag. 10, 15 minutes in the rain, I would say no problem, but don't try and throw it into a lake anytime soon. Talking more about this front pocket, it is accessible with a PU coated zipper, and these zippers are not YKK, which I don't love at the price point. At 100 USD, I'm okay with zippers not being YKK, but even then, I still don't prefer it. I'm just checking all these zippers, dude. Yeah. No Y's and no K's on here. So these are just generic zippers, which again, at the price point, not my favorite thing. But one of my favorite things in a backpack is bright lining. And you can see here we have a rip stop lining. And like I said, this is great because it helps to create a highlight effect, making it easier to find what you put where in your bag. And just gives the bag a little bit of life, a little bit of color. And in this pocket, we have 1, 2 smaller lining pockets. But notice I'm trying to give you the best view that I can. It's a bit of a tighter pocket. It's not a pocket that has its own volume. It's a very flush pocket, which on the pro side, it looks sexier, right? Like this bag had this own bulging pocket right there. It had a kind of a beer belly effect. Not as sexy, but that also means when the bag is fully packed out, this pocket's gonna be really difficult to use. It's a great pocket for things you want quicker access to. You can throw some meds in there, AirPods, a couple of pens. And you can fit some bulkier stuff too. This is a packable tote from Peak Design. You can see a zips on in there. The pocket has capacity. The problem is, like I said, when the main compartment is fully packed out, that's when that capacity goes bye-bye. And one more test for the capacity of this pocket, over-the-ear headphones. If you're a musician, gotta have these, right? Heading to the studio, making your next big EP. Will these fit? Yeah, we're getting them in there. Cool. Sony XM-H5s, nice fit. Last thing to talk about with the front is this buckle, which leads into the main compartment. And this is one thing you have to keep in mind with roll tops is it's gonna have limited access to that main compartment. Or will it? Because traditionally, to get inside the main compartment, you gotta unhinge this buckle and then unroll the top, and then even maybe unzip the zip, and then you're in. We got a sneaky way in. You know what, let's go ahead and transition to the next section. Let's talk about the middle of the Massform Wave Roll Top Backpack. Before we get into the top of the main compartment, let's talk about the sides first. First of all, let's talk about these two guys, the water bottle holders on the sides. And I say water bottle holders, but they're not really water bottle holders, but they kind of are. I'll show you what I mean with that in just a minute. Now, getting into the actual main compartment, we have this metal buckle right here, which helps to elevate the feel of the bag. Metal is just a bit more premium, which you want at 150 USD. You got 3 little notches. Then to get in, you just unroll and boom, you're rolling. And if you want a bit of extra waterproofness and or security, you can zip this up right here. Now this is where roll tops traditionally suck because it's access, right? You're going vertical, top loader, not fun. You're not having a good time. But Rollform modernized this roll top and gave us side access as well. This is still not the greatest access for a bag, but like this would not be okay on a travel backpack for me. You definitely want like a full clamshell style opening for that kind of a bag. But for an everyday carry such as this, I think this opening it's okay. It's not my favorite. It's definitely, you know, this is limiting, right? Versus like a full clamshell opening where you can just see everything laid out in front of you. But the good news is that a lot of the organization here is very minimal. Let me pack it out and show you what I mean. Got a bunch of EDC stuff. Go ahead and throw the tech pouch at the bottom. Now here we've got some really nice fabric. This is a Darlington mesh, which as you can see is very stretchy, has a very premium feel to it, and that stretchiness gives it a bit more like carrying capacity. So you can see I could fit my laptop charger in there. And here's, you know, we're showing full effect like why roll tops, they make you work for it. And here's the thing with a roll top, like, you know, it's the pros and the cons, right? This access is really frustrating to some, but you're getting significantly better weather protection. There's no doubt about that. And the look is killer. So like, I mean, you know, it's all a trade-off. Just depends on what's important to you. If you look all the way down here too, you'll see that there's a sleeve. Yeah, you can see with this gray fabric right there. So I can go ahead, slide my notebook on in there as well. Some other tech stuff. And now we're ready for a day in the city. But let's talk about these side pockets. 2 of them, both of which are extremely flush, but you can unzip the non-YKK, important to distinguish, PU-coated zipper, and then you can fit a water bottle in here very nicely. Now here's the deal, this is a 24-ounce Columbia, and it was difficult to get that in there. It's probably gonna be the girthiest water bottle that you'll be able to fit in this side pocket. So if you carry like a big water bottle, it's not gonna fly with the Waveform backpack. Massform Wave Roll Top, I was close. But if your water bottle is a little bit on the skinnier side, or you're using it to carry an umbrella, you can see that works perfectly as well. And then you can zip it up to keep the umbrella extra secure. One final note in the middle is I would say this bag is not like an incredible self-standing bag, but it does pretty well. It's got a very thin base, like it needs to be packed out proper. But as you can see, it's got a nice flat bottom. So if it is packed out proper, it can self-stand sometimes. Now here's the deal, I gotta tell you, if you're still watching this review, there's a good chance that you're a very thorough person and possibly a bit of a bag nerd, or at the very least a gearhead. And if that's the case, I wanna, well, welcome you to the Nomadization channel, but also I wanna let you know that here at NN, we don't just do gear reviews on YouTube, but we also have the Nomadization newsletter. And in that newsletter, like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm so proud of this thing. We put so much time into it, making sure that you know, like, you're getting directly sent to your inbox everything that's happening in the world of gear. I'm talking about the newest releases, limited edition drops, discount codes, exclusive giveaways, everything in between. Plus, it's just about like staying on top of this like incredible industry. I'm keeping my finger on the pulse at all times, and I'm just like reporting to you what's happening. So if you want to be a part of the Nomadization newsletter, just look for this globe emoji in the description below. Hope to see you in your inbox. Let's talk about the back of the Massform Wave Roll Top. Top panel has got the same fabric that we use here, and it's a very nice fabric. It's very smooth to the touch, which just gives the handle a delightful sort of like feel, which is nice because it's a big touch point with the bag. So every time you grab it, you just get that little, that's nice. And it's a very functional handle as well, lots of space to grab, and it's very hangable as well. Let's talk tech protection. We've got sideways access, which is protected with a PU-coated zipper. And then you can see we're in. I've gone back and forth on my perspective on side laptop access. I think it's fine. There's no real cons with it. It's just a vibe, and it depends on what you prefer. Like for me, like I just kind of like that classic top-down access. But if you like the side access, let's take a look at how a 16-inch MacBook Pro fits in here. Oh yeah, I think we're gonna get in there, but are we gonna close is the question. Put the Velcro strap to secure it. Let's see. Oof. If you carry a 16-inch MacBook Pro, you can close it, but that is the tightest of tight squeezes. But yeah, definitely works. Now we have the backpack pretty packed out, so that's obviously making it a bit tighter of a squeeze. But anything smaller than a 16-inch MacBook Pro, and you'll be fine. We got a bit of padding right here, reinforced with the padding on the back panel. And you can see the bottom of the laptop compartment right here is actually not as low as the actual bag, which means that Massform has done a really nice job of implementing a false bottom. So if your bag hits the ground, your laptop is less likely to get damaged. That's the tech pouch that you hear. The laptop though, or the fake 3D cutout of the laptop, very protected. Hey guys, real fast, Aaron from the future here. And the thing is, we were actually reviewing the edit of this review, and we realized we missed something really important. As to where you can see in the laptop compartment, we have this divider. And this divider is really important because it allows you to bring 2 items of tech with you. And it gives you a bit of versatility, but at the end of the day, you can fit a 16-inch MacBook Pro on one side and a 13-inch tablet on the other. And one other thing we missed is if you look deep into the bottom corner of the laptop compartment, right here, there's an AirTag slot. It's deep in there. I don't think you're gonna be able to see it, but I promise you it's there, which means if you have a tracker, like a tile or an AirTag, you can keep it in a very hidden position in the backpack. I don't know if I love it there because it kind of conflicts with the laptop maybe a little bit. It's not the end of the world, and I'd certainly rather have the tracker than not. Okay, that should be it. Back to the review. This could be a pretty decent travel companion, because you see we got a luggage pass-through holder right here, and it's nice and loose. But not too loose as to where you're gonna feel it on your back when you're wearing it, but loose enough as to where you can really slide it over the luggage handle very easily, giving you access to all the pockets that you need with the bag standing upright. So nice execution there, and also, there's a nice execution on the comfort of this bag. I've been wearing it on and off for the past week, testing it out, and it really is nice. Nice mesh padding on the shoulder straps, same with the back panel. This mesh is breathable, but I like it because it's not too scratchy. It's not too coarse. It's smooth while still giving the bag a bit of grip, so it's not gonna be sliding off your shoulder anytime you gotta adjust. Comfort's gonna be improved by the sternum strap, which helps to redistribute the weight of the bag to your front of your chest as opposed to your lower back. And yeah, it's a really comfortable bag. I mean, what do we got for width for these things? These are almost 3 inches in width, which is quite wide for a shoulder strap, especially for a bag that's gonna carry around 18 to 20 liters. Now, there's not a lot of depth with the shoulder straps, but honestly, it's a smaller bag, so it's not super necessary. We're at about 1 cm of depth, but there's enough width on the shoulder straps to kind of compensate for that lack of depth. And we've got dangle stoppers at the bottom of the shoulder straps, keeping this guy happy. If you don't know who he is, by the way, his name's Dan. We call him No Dangle Dan. And he's been protesting dangle on this channel since 2018. And he's not gonna stop. You're incorrigible, little guy. I love it. We'll see you next time. Now, a couple other quick notes. Shoulder straps, we have some like daisy chain going on. These are just external lash points, so you can clip things on to the straps if you want to carry anything externally on your bag. But then finally, we have this guy right here. Almost forgot about it, which is a hidden back wallet on the back panel. And I love these pockets. These pockets are great for storing your wallet, or if you're traveling, it's a potential good spot for your passport and or boarding pass. This one I'd say is average though, as to where it's a little short. We're dealing with 5.5 inches in height, which just means that when you swing the bag around and try to grab whatever's in there, it can be a little tight, especially when the bag is fully packed out. So if it's fully packed out, the main compartment's got a bunch of stuff in here, it's pushing against this pocket, which then you gotta really get in there. I like a back pocket like this to be at least 7 inches. I know that there's a "that's what she said" joke in there when it comes to these pockets, like, 7 inches, okay? That's just what I prefer. Don't judge me. But one last note on the dangle of this bag is this piece of hardware that's being used at the bottom of the shoulder straps, which is quite interesting because I've seen this guy, but I've never actually seen it on a bag before, as to where it's a plastic piece that's completely removable, which is nice because it might give you the option to customize, but it's a little finicky. What I mean by that is, I gotta get it back on, is you can see that when it's back on, there's just a clip. And then you slide the excess nylon webbing into the clip, which by the way, the excess nylon webbing on the cheaper side, it's okay for the price point at $150, but they could have splurged a little bit more on this, but it gets the job done. But anyways, you can see we have the clip right there, and sometimes the nylon webbing can slide out of that clip. So it's not the most consistent, non-dangle solution out there, which is why he came back. Hey dude, long time no see. As you can see here at Nomad Station, we care a lot about dangle. And if you agree that our obsession with dangle is the right cause to fight for, let us know in the comments below. Let's talk about the most important part and give this bag some overall scores. Overall score for number 1 for the comfort, I actually give it like a 4 out of 5. I like the wider shoulder straps. We've got the sternum strap. It's a really nice amount of comfort here. Maybe a bit more depth would give it a perfect score, but really, really comfortable bag. Like really, really nice. For the overall value, I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. Reason being, I think that at the price point, you can find some better value options, but also like there's a lot of uniqueness happening with this bag in terms of its design. It's gonna contribute to its value as well. And the overall score, I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. I think it's a great first attempt that has a lot to build upon. But overall for a first bag, yeah, it definitely gets the job done. But keep in mind, this is just my personal score based on my comfort and my perception of value, and everyone's perception of value and comfort are gonna, drastically differ. So if you wanna hear other people's opinions and experiences using this bag, I highly suggest asking in the comments below or in the Nomads Nation subreddit. We got one of the biggest communities of bag nerds in the world on that subreddit, and we'd love to see you there. Let's talk about the overall pros and the cons of the Massform Wave. Pro number 1 for a lot of people is going to be the aesthetic. Pro number 2 is it is very impressively weather resistant. And pro number 3, I think that the interior color option with that neon orange gives the bag a lot of functionality. Especially considering con number 1 is gonna be the limited access, right? Especially with that main compartment. The orange lining helps, but like there's only so much it can help when you're really struggling to get inside. Con number 2 is gonna be the lack of YKK zippers at this price point. And con number 3 is gonna be the tightness of the front and 2 side pockets. But remember, if you're still here watching this, there's a good chance that you're really digging this bag and you're thinking about picking it up. And if that's the case, just a reminder, we highly suggest doing so with the first link in the description. Remember, that link is where you get the best price, and if we have any discount codes, that's what they'll be. But if you're not quite sold, let me give you some alternative recommendations. First up, if you're new to the Nomads Nation channel, you should definitely watch the Nomads Nation leaderboard video. This is where myself and the whole Nomads Nation squad, we get together and we chat about our favorite bags in different bag categories. It's a great video to watch to kind of introduce yourself to the channel and to see the best options on the market. And I've gone ahead and linked that above. But if we're close with this, here's 2 closer alternatives that might better suit your needs. Alternative number 1 is gonna be the Stubble Co Rolltop. It's a great pick for you if we're really close to this bag. The Stubble Co Rolltop, not too far off. Similar materials, similar internal lining color, but it's a little less like artsy with its kind of design, and it's got a couple other different features that are important as well. And alternative number 2 is gonna be the Wanted Provoke EDC. This is a great pick for you if you don't really care about quick and kind of convenient access to the main compartment, but you're digging the roll top look, but you want more color options and a bit higher quality materials and fabrics. Honestly, all 3 bags are great. They just kind of all have their own unique pros and cons, and you gotta figure out which ones are best for you. But to learn more about the 2 alternatives, you can just go ahead and watch these videos right here. If you got any questions about any bags, be sure to let me know in the comments below or in the Nomads Nation subreddit. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Aaron. This is Nomads Nation. We'll catch you next time.